Pride is dangerous. In this last segment of our winter Moto mindset reset, I wanted to start off with talking about pride and how it can be very dangerous for our journeys on the bike or off the bike. And why I say that is because things come and go. Metal, our bikes, our homes, money, finances, health, jobs, relationships, everything is in a state of change, one way or the other. I shared with you before how we need to put together and understand, appreciate how death, life, rebirth, womb, tomb are all interrelated. And so pride is something that keeps us from going through that process. And that's why I think pride is dangerous. Now, I'm not a therapist, I'm not a minister, I'm not a PhD. It's just how I've been able to reset my mind and stay grounded when things get really hectic and crazy. The last thing I want to do is hold on to the pride of past events, or whether they're mine or someone else's. It takes courage to break away from latching onto those types of things. What we need to do more in practice is shift gears. So if we love going in high gears, right, of life. We love the highs of life. May it be financial, we meet someone amazing, we go on a great trip. These are moments, but if we get latched on to events, let's say we did really well in school and in sports at some point, if we latch onto those memories and we hold pride in those things, well, you're living in a time warp. So they're great events, you learn from them, you pick out a seed from there, and then you move on from that event and learn and hold on to that lesson. But it's not something to be prideful about. I think when we sit in a place of pride, like I said, we're holding on to something and we're holding ourselves out as someone that was just a clip in time, a moment in time. May it be that you made $1 million. Well, good for you. But you made it at that point in time. But don't take pride in that. Just because you did it at one point in time and now you've been grasping on to hold something, that's not something to be prideful about, because that was yesterday. That was another time. Let's say if you lose it all, have you sustained the ability to regain what it is that makes you, helps you evolve, and something else that can pull you up, and maybe a new sense of a prideful moment. I think there are prideful moments, but you shouldn't take on that that mask, that kind of badge of pride, because it doesn't help anyone. It just keeps you in a time warp. So I want to go back to motorcycle riding. It's great to be in the high gears, but we have to be able to shift down, keep a controlled pace, and always stay grounded where we are and listen to our inner voices, because sometimes our pride can be way up here where we're imagining we're still in that moment of pride, but our gut is saying something different. But because we're listening to that loud pride muffler, we're not hearing where or what our gut is telling us. Maybe our gut will tell us to downshift. And if we're not learning something, we're not taking a little nugget of wisdom within that, then we're not, that gets dangerous, because we still want to relive it and relive it and relive it. And then it becomes this badge and mask that we live behind. And then we give other people the impression, or we give them their certain advice, because from our prideful standpoint, because we know. And no one wants to hear that, to be honest. And it's important that we learn how to shift gears, because that's the real power, not being stuck in the sweet spot of one particular gear. And when we change gears, there's a sweet spot in each gear. And the power comes from not staying in one gear because it felt so good to you. No, the power is finding the courage to use energy and knowledge and being able to adjust to where you need to be. So, yeah, pride just excludes others, and it's us trying to keep ourselves pumped up. But why would we do that? Why would we settle for that? That's like being stuck in traffic. You're 20, 30 cars behind you, or 30 cars in front of you. Like you've trapped yourself into this time warp. And you need to listen to your own gut and where you are, and find the courage to be flexible, to move in that new place, in that new space. But pride becomes like speed bumps. It'll slow you down. It's time warp. It will keep you stuck in that place. And then no one is going to want to hear you. No one's going to want to look up to you. I don't care if it's a house, a car, a bank account, whatever it is that you feel prideful that you got. A prideful moment, no one wants to hear you relive that over and over and over again, or spend your time and energy trying to grasp on and retain it. I mean, I buy used cars or used motorcycles because I don't care if there's a ding in it or something happens. It's a vehicle. It's just a vehicle. And if I'm going to get flustered over something that happens to it, well, shame on me. Then I bought something that I can't afford to upkeep, which is false pride. Because if you can earn it or get it, or it's not the strength comes from if you lose it or something happens to it, that you have the strength and the wisdom to go search for that new moment. And if it's not as perfect as when you first got it or remembered it, then you're still happy with yourself. So learn from times, from pride, from moments where you felt pride, but don't find your self-esteem in those prideful moments. Don't get stuck there. You have to give more airtime to your gut and your inner voice, more than some prideful moment. Take the nugget from from a prideful moment and put that in your lesson book and move forward. But don't get stuck in pride. Search for the new. Search for the future. Everyone will want to listen to you and watch you. Fear not.